Hi everyone, this is Frank DeRose, bass instructor at the School of the Blues. Well, it's a hot day in the South Bay area today. Staying inside. You'll hear the fan and the air conditioner in the background. I can't help that. Got to stay cool. And while I was inside, I decided to do a follow-up video to my Walking the Bass Level 3. This will be a part 3. In part 1, I introduced you to the 2-5-1 progression. In part 2, I showed you the alternate ways to play the 2-5. Today, we're going to explore how to walk ourselves into the root note of the 2. So when we're in the key of G, and these examples are in G, our 2 note is the A. It's 2 frets up. And sometimes those 2 frets can be kind of perplexing on how we can walk ourselves into that 2, the A note, from the G and make it sound interesting. So let me get set up. You open the tabs that are attached in the details of this video, look them over, and let's get ready to play. So let's do a quick review of the 2-5. In a 12-bar blues, measure 9 and 10 become the 2 and then the 5. So here's a quick reminder of what a standard 2-5 sounds like in the key of G. In level 3 part 2 video, we were doing our examples in the key of G, and we're going to continue that today. So we have continuity. So here's measure 7 and 8 leading into the 2 and then the 5, and then we'll do measures 11 and 12. So here we go. Here's the 2, 5, back to the 1, and that's the beginning of the next 12 bar. So in level 3 part 2, I introduced you to the concept of playing the 2 all the way up here on the 7th fret of the D string. So it sounded like this from measure 7. So today's video, we want to explore ideas that get us in a better position to play that A note or the 2. Because in level 3 part 2, we were right here on this B note, and then we jumped all the way up here to get to this A note. I talk about this concept as an idea of walking ourselves into the next root note, or getting us in position to play the next root note. So when we are playing a standard 2-5 sounding like this, here's the B note, we're right there, we're walking ourselves into the A note. But when we're doing this, we're making a big jump. We did not walk ourselves into that A note. So here's a way to do it. With the tab open for exercise number 1, we're really modifying the last note in bar 8, which will look like this. So here's bar 8. So what we're doing, we're still going to play a G arpeggio, but we're going to modify the G arpeggio. So we're going to do a root 6, 5, 6. So we're going back to the E note. It's a subtle difference. Now we're on the 7th fret of the A string. Then our A note is the next string up at the 7th fret. So it sounds like this. So we're in much better position. So let me kick off the player and let's play along with the first 12 bars, and let's try to get our fingering to get us into the 7th fret position by playing a root 6, 5, slide up with our little finger into the 7th fret, the E note. Now we're on the 7th fret and the A note is the next string up. So let's try it. Here we go. So far, everything is unchanged from the previous version. Here's the change. Yeah, so that's the first example of walking ourselves into the next root note, or walking ourselves into a better position to play the next root note. So let me get the player set for example number 2. Example number 2, we modify measure number 8, the last 3 notes. So measure 7 still starts down here at 3rd fret on the low G note. Now measure number 8 is still the G note here at the 5th fret on the D string, that higher G, the octave up. Now we're going to modify the next 3 notes of the measure. Instead of going, we're going to go. So we're going to play the G note, that's fret number 5. Then we're going to go down with our ring finger 1 fret below the 4th fret on the D string. So it sounds like this. And then we're going right back to the G note. Then we're going up to the 6th fret with our little finger, which is walking us right into the A note, the next fret, the 7th fret. So measure number 8 sounds like this. Right there. We're walking ourselves into measure number 9, the A note, the root of the 2 chord. This arpeggio is built on chromatics, meaning we're playing notes 1 fret away from each other. So in the G major scale, that's the major 7th when we go down a half step. So the root, 7th note of the scale, the root, there's the chromatic, it's out of scale note, then right into the 2. So let me start the player and let's play along here. Hopefully you have the tab open for example number 2. And if you've not looked at it or tried this fingering, hit pause right here on the video and try playing measures 7, 8, and 9 to get comfortable with that feeling. We want to make sure that our little finger is really the dominant finger here. It leads us everywhere. So here we go. First 12 bars with this chromatic line. There you have it. Example number 2. Using chromatic line to get us from a G up 2 frets to the A, walking ourselves into the root note of the 2 chord. So you open up exercise number 3, and I'll cue up the player. Exercise number 3. Again, bar number 8 is where we modify our arpeggio. We're still starting with that same G note, the 5th fret. But from there, we're going to play the root 2, 3. We have one more beat for the measure, because we're not going to go right back down into the 2 and then be there, and then we have to play that note again. So we're going to do root 2, 3, back to the root, and then we're going to play the 2 again, which is the first note of bar number 9. That's the root note of the 2 chord. So from bar 7 on the G note, the low G note, this is what it's going to sound like getting into bar number 9. If you'll notice, I did change my fingering. First finger was here for this G note, so I could get my little finger up to the 3, which is the B note. Then I can drop my first finger back on the G note. Then I can drop my little finger into the A and be in the little finger position to play these descending lines for the 2 to the 5. So pause the video right here for a moment. Try this fingering. Restart the video and play along with us doing this scale walk using the root 2, 3 root into the 2, the downbeat of measure number 9, the root note of the 2 chord. So let me get this player started, and we're going to give it a try. Here we go. There we are. Using the scale tones to get us in position for the root note of the 2 chord. The scale tones being the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 4 beats into the 2. The root, 2nd, 3rd, root, 2. Now you get exercise number 4 open, and I'll set the player up and we'll do the last example for today. Example number 4. We are going to use 3 of the notes that we just used in example number 3. The root, the 2nd, the 3rd, and instead of going all the way back to the root, we're going to play a chromatic note. We're going to flat the 3 going into the 2. So it sounds like this, measure number 8. Into the root note. Into the root note of the 2, and then we continue walking down into the root of the G chord again, the 1 on measure number 11. So let's do that little arpeggio in number 8 again. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to play 7. We're right here. We're going to slide up to the G note with our first finger so we can use all of our fingers. So root, 2, 3. Now we're on our little finger, and now we're going to use our little finger for a couple of notes. We're going to go down 1 fret, flat to 3. That accounts for 4 beats on measure 8. And then we're into the 2, which is the next fret down. So let's give that a try. The last example for today. Number 4, using root, 2nd, 3rd, flat to 3rd, walking into the root of the 2. So let's try it. Yeah. So that's example number 4, using 3 scale tones and the chromatic. The root, the 2nd, the 3rd, flat to 3rd. That's 4 beats for a measure. We get tension with that flat to 3rd, and we get relief immediately when we play the root of the 2 chord. Next fret down. And all 4 of these examples help us create interesting sounding bass parts, and yet we've not gotten outside of the chord sounds that we need to accompany. So I'll be back with some final thoughts. That's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson video where you learned 4 ways to put yourself into better position to play the root note of the 2. Watch for a follow-up video where we're going to explore some other ideas about how to walk ourselves into the root note of the 2. And if you've enjoyed today's lesson video, and if you've enjoyed my previous lesson videos and the videos I put up of my performances, please help me out, make a contribution through my PayPal account, which shows in the ending credits. If you want to learn more about playing the blues, you see my books behind me over my shoulder. You can get them at Amazon or Mel Bay, and if you're an international customer, you probably need to go to Amazon for your country. And if you go to Mel Bay's website, there are instructions for international purchases, which I think are ebooks only. So until I see you again, keep on thumping that bass. Bye for now.